Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something huge, the single most important document in medicine that, honestly, you've probably never even heard of. It's the secret story, the real story behind every single new medicine you see. Let's just start right there with that question, because the answer, wow, it opens up this whole hidden world of high-stakes scientific storytelling, a world where how clearly you write a document can literally be as important as the scientific breakthrough itself. Think about that. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about why this document is basically the gatekeeper to new medicines. Then, we'll get into what a CSR actually is. After that, we'll dissect it, look at its anatomy. We'll also cover what happens when these reports go wrong. And finally, we'll look at what's next for this whole field. So, before any new drug or treatment can even dream of getting to you, it has to go through this incredibly tough review. And here's the kicker. It's not just about having great science. It's about how that science is structured and presented. That's what decides if the gate opens or stays shut. Okay, so I want you to picture a detective, right? A reviewer at a regulatory agency. They're exactly like that. They can't just base their decision on a newspaper headline or a quick summary. No way. They need the whole case file. Every note, every interview, every piece of evidence. And that big, crucial case file, that's the clinical study report. All right, so what is this thing? This CSR? Let's break down exactly what this crucial piece of evidence is all about. So a clinical study report, or CSR, is the entire story of a clinical trial. And I mean the whole story. It's not the highlight reel you see on TV. It's everything. It pulls together every single detail, from the very first plan and the rules of the study, right down to the last piece of safety data. It's all woven into one single, transparent story that's designed to be put under a microscope. And this is where it gets really interesting. You've probably read a scientific journal article, right? That's a summary. It's for other scientists. It gives you the highlights. A CSR is totally different. It's for the regulators, the detectives, and it demands total transparency. We're talking the good, the bad, the ugly, the parts that didn't work out, everything, not just the shiny, exciting results. So at the end of the day, this whole massive document, and trust me, they can be huge, is built to answer just three fundamental questions for our regulatory detective. 1. Was the study designed the right way? 2. Were the data gathered and analyzed correctly? And 3. Do the results show that the benefits outweigh the risks? If that report can't give a crystal clear, confident yes to all three of those, well, the whole case grinds to a halt. Okay, so let's pop the hood and look inside this evidence file. What are the pieces? What makes up a really strong, convincing CSR? You see, a top-notch CSR isn't just thrown together. It follows a really strict global standard. Think of it like building a case, brick by brick. Each of these 5 sections logically builds on the last one, creating this perfect, easy-to-follow trail of evidence. And let me tell you, that first section, the synopsis, that first impression is absolutely everything. This isn't just a quick little summary. It's a super tight, complete overview of the entire study. For a reviewer who's got a mountain of these to read, the quality of this one section can set the tone for the whole review. It's huge. Now we get to the methods section. This is where our detective leans in close, This part details exactly how the study was done. And any fuzziness here, any little bit of confusion about how patients were picked or how data was handled, that's an immediate red flag. It can call the credibility of the entire report into question. And this is such a key point. When you get to the results section, the goal isn't to use big, complicated words to sound smart. It's the exact opposite. The goal is clarity. You want to present the data so clearly, so precisely, that anyone can trace it back, and there's just no way to misunderstand it. So, what happens when this evidence file has problems? You could have the most brilliant science in the world, a truly game-changing discovery. But if the report is a mess, if it's poorly structured or unclear, the whole thing can just collapse. Right. What can compromise the whole case? I mean, this is the question that literally keeps drug developers up at night. Because just one little gap in the story, one tiny inconsistency in that report, and suddenly you're facing a barrage of tough questions from regulators. And that means major, major delays for patients who are waiting. And these are the usual suspects, the common mistakes that are like plot holes in our detective story. Things like, changing the definition of what you're measuring halfway through, or not having a good explanation for why you changed the plan.
Each one of these things makes our detective hit the brakes, ask for more info, and can stretch out the review process by months, sometimes even years.
All right, let's pull all these threads together and look at what's coming next. Because the world of medicine is moving at lightning speed, and the way we document all this evidence has to keep up. When you boil it all down, this is why it matters so much. A strong, clear, well-structured report, it's not just about dotting your I's and crossing your T's. It is the very thing that gets safe, effective, and new medicines from a lab into the hands of a patient who needs it. It's that important. And the bar is always being raised. The standards for these reports are getting tougher all the time. In the future, CSRs are going to have to pull in all sorts of new and complex data, like reports from patients themselves or evidence from the real world, not just a lab. And they have to do all that while sticking to that #1 rule, absolute clarity. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. These clinical study reports, they're not just paperwork. They are the critical bridge that connects raw scientific data to the life-changing medical decisions that affect all of us. They are the official story that literally shapes the future of medicine. And that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? In this age of just massive data, of incredible scientific complexity, how do we make sure that the story of science stays clear, stays honest, and stays human? That's the challenge, and it's more important now than ever before.